Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2. About 10 turns have elapsed since the end of the last episode, and we are now about to be invaded by the vampires. Apparently, the vampire counts have run out of stuff to do over on their own continent. No, before you ask, they have not finished dealing with the Chaos Invasion. That's totally still happening. But for some reason, they felt like it would be a good idea to send a level 5 lord over here with a bunch of dudes to try to, I don't know, scare me or something. I don't know. These guys show up looking like a bunch of trick-or-treaters. I'm not terribly worried about them. They do have a Vargulf, which can be scary sometimes for some factions. I do not think that it will hold up well against the gun line. Corpse carts are kind of whatever. They give their guys regeneration, but honestly, I don't see this being a real problem. They went pretty light on the cavalry, which is, I think, the thing that they have that is most dangerous to us, and mostly they're going to try to come at us with elite infantry, and you've seen how that goes. I will say, I guess these guys are ethereal. If they had a bunch of Cairn Wraiths, that could be a problem. They don't, but it could be a problem if they did, because it's a lot of physical resist, and they're not really armor reliant. These guys do have shields, which is at least a little bit of a problem. 55% of all small arms missile fire. Are rifles small arms? I don't know. The point is, I think we can deal with them, but I thought it would be interesting enough to come back in on. Also, the campaigns in the north and the south are going alright. You can see we've claimed a little bit more land over here. We've pushed down to Hag Hall. We are compressing Tretch's empire from the north. He doesn't have anything left up in this area. This is all of his stuff now. Just the six or so settlements he has right here. So we're pretty close to being rid of them. I'm hopeful that our allies over here, the Exiles of Nahak, can step in and do something. I gave them a war coordination target on this army. We'll see if they actually try to help at all. Malekith is up here making noises about trying to invade us, but we're going to be able to put an army into the Circle of Destruction with its 13-unit garrison here. I'm confident that we are in no danger on this one. In fact, let's just go ahead and get that done right now. Cat Rains' army is still not, like, super elite, but it is nice to have a second army back on this landmass. There's a little bit too much for Burke Black to handle all by himself. Speaking of Burke Black, where are you right now? Oh yeah, that's right. We were pushing the Dark Elves out of this desert entirely. Not because I want this desert, but because I want to leave it open for the Exiles of Nahak. My concern is that with them already owning one of the settlements in it, it would be a real pain in the ass to keep public order up here without access to the commandment and all the settlements. So I want to just leave the desert stuff open, see if they'll take it, and if not, then it just sits open. I'm fine with that. Alright, let's go ahead and knock this out real quick. This will be an auto-resolve, I'm sure. Huh. Remarkably bad balance of power bar there, but I think an auto-resolve should be fine. Oh, they killed one of my units of Sirens. Somehow, very difficult to imagine how they thought I would have done this siege to end up with just one unit of Sirens dead.
There's treasure and graves.
That's a lot of money. We could sack this and then really roll that cash into Empire upgrades, but the thing is, I really want to keep moving. I'm just going to burn it. Okay, so the bad news is, when we sack or burn cities, we end up not in friendly territory after taking it, so we're not going to get any real replenishment here. And let's see, I can just grab another unit of Sirens to replace the lost one from the Raised Dead pool. Alright, so we're about to be able to push on the Dark Elves. I didn't really want to. I had to turn north to deal with some Dark Elf armies. My plan was to finish off Tretch. We may still turn Burke Black around. Down in the southern theater, Celostra is obviously just carving through things. We've now managed to take this whole province, got it solidified a little bit. We're no longer negative on public order. We do not have walls everywhere, and that definitely needs to get changed, especially Chupiatl needs proper defenses. Let's make sure that happens. I don't know that I want to make any other big changes here. I suppose we could get this building built up to a Dread Pirates workshop so that armies that are not Silostras that we leave in the area have access to good units. That's probably worth doing. So Silostra herself really wants to keep clearing out Skaven settlements. All of Skrulk's armies are constantly attacking this area. It has been non-stop. These two armies are doing a fine job of defending, but Skrulk has completely abandoned his southern front. So I expect that this is how things are going to go, basically, for the next 10 or 15 turns down here. I just keep playing goalie, bouncing back and forth and killing Skaven armies 1v2, while Silostra slowly takes over the entire the entire southern part of this continent. This right here is exactly why I didn't want to just keep running the series the way it was running, because, man, this isn't going to be interesting. So I think we fall back to Zahutek. So yeah, the temple could use some more upgrades, yeah. I think we fall back to Zahutek. There's no point in pushing forward to Tlachtlan. I don't want to fight Lord Skrulk's 20-unit army, plus the 20-unit garrison here with these guys, and then have to endure getting attacked again right afterward. And we can just play defense while Silostra cleans up their southern part, because they're going to run out of stuff pretty soon.
I'm here.
All bones on deck. Nothing will stop me. Don't stop.
Soon they will not have the economy to sustain 4 armies all the time.
We'll intercept.
See if we can kill this agent. Nope, we cannot. Lenny Sealegs has been having a little bit of a comedy of errors going on. He is repeatedly failing to kill any enemy agents, but he's also surviving all of their attempts to kill him. Alright, so Silostra, what do we want to do here? Subatun is part of the same province that Axolotl is in. Axolotl is probably still empty, my guess. We burned it. Skrulk could have settled it by now, I suppose. The thing is, like, Subatun and Axolotl together, we're probably not going to be able to hold, because we would need Itza. Itza is one of the cities that we have to take for our large campaign goal, but I don't want to take it yet because I don't want to declare war on the Vampire Coast. I want to keep them as friendly as possible while we finish off Skrulk, because Skrulk is going to have to be completely eliminated or we'll never be safe. So I think what I'm going to do is... Actually, could we hire a hero? Oh, right, sorry, we'd have to do it from Silostra. If I could have a hero just go check that out. We are capped on Gunnery Wights and Mourngul Haunters, but we could pull a Vampire Fleet Captain. So let's do that. Do any of you have any... Ambush success chance up for armies in the local region. That's very interesting. I think that might be the winner, because none of the rest of this stuff is map relevant at all, and this is not a character I intend to use in an army. Okay.
Fleet captain, report.
So we'll have her run up and check out Axolotl. Next turn, for now, Silostra just pushes toward the Mine of the Bearded Skulls, which is definitely one of Skrulk's. So I've been trying my best to pick up things that lower our army upkeep, and also just to fix up our economy as much as we can. So you can see we're up at 6,300 positive gold here without me having deleted an army. I'm hoping that we can get to the point where we can afford another army soon. So we're going to keep pursuing upgrades to our upkeep costs. Alright, Peggy Rains probably wants to sit exactly where she is. I think I would rather let them make landfall than attack them on the sea. I guess we'll have a pretty big advantage on the water, though, won't we?
Where to?
Yeah, let's just go after him now, I guess. I don't know why I thought letting him land would be better. Out of curiosity, what is the upkeep reduction of another lord? So we'd still be positive with another lord, but they wouldn't be able to run very much in their army. Yeah, we probably shouldn't just yet. Keep getting money and then using that money to upgrade our money-making capabilities. Like this. It's an extra 200 gold? Yeah, that's worth doing. Yeah, I guess let's just ride out and fight him. I should be able to handle this. Oh, the game doesn't think this will be a problem at all. Well, since this is our first fight against the vampire counts, we'll go ahead and take it manually. If we run this attack off, maybe they'll think better of sending future ships. Maybe they'll just decide that it's not worth the trouble. I'm not not super hopeful for that, but it could happen. So, if the Graveguard get into our lines, they'll do a ton of damage. Graveguard are very good fighters, and obviously our riflemen are not. But nothing in this army deals magic damage, so the Sirens should be pretty good at fighting them. Actually, the Hex Wraiths might. We might have a little bit of trouble with the Hex Wraiths. I think we're probably going to defeat these Hex Wraiths mostly by bombing them out and letting them die of sadness. Okay, 15 is pretty good. And of course we have access to all of our wonderful Lore of Vampires spells. They split their army in half. I think we want to start closer to the side that has... Well, I guess we can't actually see all their units, can we? I kind of want to start closer to the side that has the Vargulf, because I want to get it killed right away, but I guess that's not really an option, so we'll just start over here. Where they have fewer flying units. Oh, that's... okay, that was weird. Now the downside here is that without the Queen Bess, this army doesn't have the ability to set up as far back and still rain death on the enemies right away. But my suspicion is that they will come forward. And if they don't, we can reassess. Let's have a unit I don't mind losing on the side over here to try to guard against the cavalry charge. We're going to run the Sirens just sort of through the middle of the gunners. Anybody behind the Siren line wasn't going to be firing anyway. I kind of want to make my gun line wider. Need to be a little bit careful because this army doesn't have any heroes or anything, so we have a limited amount of leadership aura. Yeah, that's fine. Peggy probably has to start closer to the middle. Just get that leadership aura cast over as many people as possible. This army could really use a gunnery wipe. Okay, they are just going to come toward us. That's nice of them. They didn't have to. What is this thing? What's going on here? Pretty neat. And there's all kinds of weird high elf stuff on this island. I don't know what any of it is. Alright, so... the Hex Wraiths are probably going to be pretty good, or the Cairn Wraiths rather, are probably going to be pretty good at absorbing mortar fire is my guess. They're okay at it. I think I would really prefer that the mortars be firing at Graveguard though. Alright, the Necrofex Colossus is doing a great job working on those Black Knights. You should feel free to keep doing that. We might be able to get these guys very close to deleted by the time they get close enough to attack. We're going to try it on the other side as well. We definitely need to... man, right as these guys get ready to actually fire at other enemies too. We definitely need to deal with all these flyers. Let's have... even the Sirens can step up and provide a little bit of a wall now that I'm not worried about them blocking line of sight or anything. I don't know, I think we're going to win this. I don't think it's going to go quite as well as it would have if we let the auto-resolve happen. That balance of power bar was very much in our favor. This would probably be a pretty good time to hit the shanty. Alright, the gunfire has started in earnest. They're just kind of letting me shoot at them, weirdly enough. Not seeing a lot of gunfire coming out of these guys. Okay, so... you guys hold them down. You guys hold them down. These 3 units of rifles probably need to change targets. These guys will die out from their crumbling state. Over here, it looks like we've completely handled all of that stuff, which is nice. I guess just pretty much reform facing forward. And you... I shoot at the Vargulf, which is all up in this unit of deckhands we summoned. So Vargulfs have some serious leadership issues, and because they're undead monsters, when their leadership gets bad, they start crumbling, right? That's what we are hoping will happen here. The thing will just fall apart on us without us having to fight it too much. Oh, these guys are getting around the backside, though. Oh, interesting. They're not going after any of the rifles that might actually be going after them. Alright, well this seems like a fine time to drop the first... Oh, not Wind of Death, sorry. The first Invocation of Nahak. Yeah, fortunately, they're just getting shredded. A lot of these vampire units not particularly good against being shot by rifles. This is probably a good time for you all to step forward. Okay, that guy's got to get held in place. I guess we should probably just summon some more reinforcements here since this is available. The Vargulf is already dying. I mean, it's a terrifying monster. It's a big, scary thing, and it's actually completely coated with what I'm assuming is our troops' blood. But just not a good type of guy to fight our units. Alright, what are you shooting at right now? Okay, actually, I love that. I love that you are shooting into the bulk of the enemy units. Maybe we should aim a little bit further over here, though. Yeah, I think actually we're coming out pretty far ahead on this. Actually, now that we've got this whole thing lined up, this might be a good time for a big Wind of Death. Oh, that's right. It's crazy expensive. Alright, so all those guys are dead now. Try to shoot down these knights.
Enemies, wail!
Yeah, you can see they're actually doing quite a bit better than some of the other enemy infantry have done at running toward us. Those shields blocking 55% of our fire are pretty serious. Alright, so this is under control. What does it cost to overcast Wind of Death? More than 22 is the answer to that question. I might not want to, honestly. I might want to save it for invocations. So, the Cairn Wraiths are still very healthy, but losing decisively to the Sirens. Let's put a little bit of gunfire into their sides, just to try to lower their morale even more. You guys should focus on those Graveguard. We do not need anybody shooting at the Corpse Carts. The Corpse Carts have no ability to do any meaningful damage to us on their own. The thing that Corpse Carts are for is supporting other units, giving them regeneration and stuff. Not a real concern for us. We're tearing through these guys pretty quickly. Alright, that unit of rifles is just going to have to take it on the chin here. You know what? I really want this Wind of Death, though. Look at all these guys. We can overcast it now. Like, right here, right? Look at how good that is. Yeah, I can't not do that. Let's watch that happen. Just completely obliterates them. Wind of Death does so much damage. The last of the knights are getting dropped as they charge forward. That's going to very nearly break all of those guys. Yeah, this battle's going okay. Maybe things are going to be just fine. We have a lot of people who are almost crumbling, just starting to fall apart here. This is sort of like, I feel like Vampire Coast versus Vampire Counts is a little bit like Empire versus Elves, which is like, they're similar forces in a lot of ways, and each individual elf is way better than each individual Empire soldier, but it's just like the tech disadvantage is so great. Alright, go into melee mode, go fight that guy. Everybody else back out. He's crumbling, it's going to take him a minute. I'm trying to minimize casualties here. Oh, I can't overcast this. Let's just get a normal heal off on the sirens before the battle ends properly. Okay, and then right before all of the mortars land on top of my guys, the battle ends. That's a good time. Yeah, that went pretty cleanly. It's hard for me to imagine the vampire count's force that would be effective against us. It's going to have to be very heavy, very cavalry heavy. No, you know what? That's not true. I say that, but vampire counts have access to all of the schools of magic that we have access to, except for deeps. And they have access to actually some of the best cavalry in the game. A cavalry-heavy force with some flying units. Like the problem with these flying units is that they got out ahead of the rest of the army. What they should do is go cavalry, flyers, and a wizard, a good powerful wizard. And vampire lords are wizards. Just charge us with the cavalry, enough cavalry that I can't shoot down all of the ones that are running at us. And then as soon as the cavalry get engaged, then the flyers come in, fly over top, hit my guys from the back. And, you know, vampire counts can have Wind of Death. That incredibly powerful spell that we cast there is totally available to them. So actually, vampire counts might be one of the factions that could put up the best fight against us. It's just that this heavy infantry formation is not going to do it.
Lies outside of the break.
Oh, and they brought us quite a lot of money.
Setting sail.
Alright, can I finish these guys off? Yeah. Well, we definitely want to do that. And I'm gonna do it manually, because manually we can do this with no losses at all. If I auto-resolve, it might kill some of my injured units. Probably the unit most likely to die is these normal deckhands, and I don't really care about their survival, but we may as well just knock this out manually, right? We're going to be able to do it with actually 0 losses. I'm surprised to see that any of those Vargeist survived the battle at all. I thought for sure we had completely obliterated them. Some of them must have realized what was up and run away. I mean, it's pretty simple here. Form up there, the artillery up here. Honestly, the artillery in front probably, right? Because I want to make absolutely certain I can reach. Yeah. And then sirens and the Lord. Okay. Oh, I forgot to grab these guys. Get over here. And we can probably run this and fast forward and everything. This should be, I think, pretty quick. Wow, that guy managed to make it quite a distance into his charge. And I'll say this for them, they're tough, right? They have that resilience that comes with being undead. That's an awful lot of gunfire to take down a very small number of dudes. I think Black Knights can have shields, too. I think they could have powerful elite charging cavalry that also have an immunity to 55% of all small arms fire. Yeah, vampire counts could be really scary to us. It's kind of a shame that they're the ones who have taken over the world. I actually think dwarves would also be pretty good against us. They don't really have any cavalry, but their artillery is better than ours is, I think. Dwarves and the Empire are the two that could out-artillery us, and we don't really have a great plan for if we are out-artilleried. Well, also Skaven, I guess. Skaven artillery is better than ours, but we've been muddling through that, I guess.
More power. Admiral of the fleet.
Alright. So yeah, Peggy Rains, unfortunately, has been locked down on the island by periodic assaults from the Wood Elves. So every once in a while, the Wood Elves send over 2 boats, and almost without exception, one of the boats makes landfall, and the other one turns around and leaves halfway through the sea, and then we easily crush the other Wood Elf army, but we still have to have somebody over here to deal with it. So let's see, we're 2 turns off of Curse of the Bountiful Treasure again. I really don't need to do Curse of Eternal Service.
Captain, on deck.
Alright, Viola was going for the treasure up here. I think... we have a treasure map. I think it is referring to the mouth of this bay. So we're going to go over here and try to dig and hopefully get something out of it. Yeah, that is how the campaign is going for the moment. Let's see exactly what happens down here. I'm pretty curious. Sorry, not down here. I know what's going to happen down here. Over here. Let's see exactly what happens. Because they do have an awful lot of rats in the area. If they pushed up to Zahotek in force, we'd have to fall back. I don't think they can attack us this turn, but they could definitely force us out. Oh, also we have Malekith, who should run away, but based on the last couple of times we've seen him, he may just, charge forward into a suicidal battle. Interestingly, the balance of power bar is on his side, but I just can't... How? How could that possibly be the outcome? Well, let's fight it. Yeah, Cat Rains' army should have this, like, way under control. She is definitely the weakest of our lords, but even so. So what does he have in terms of range? He has a couple units of normal cavalry plus Doomfire Warlocks. He has... I don't know what that is. I guess we'll find out once we're in battle. He has a unit of ranged cavalry, 2 units of archers. These guys look like they have bows, but a lot of this is just heavy infantry, and heavy infantry is spectacularly bad against us. We also have a polearm depth guard unit, which of course is very valuable. Be good against the couple of monsters that they brought in. So this is that, it is a, like, flying bat-winged horses, the Raven Heralds. Honestly, this is pretty cool. This is a pretty cool thing. I suspect they will find that they are ill-suited to fighting our army. Alright, so the default layout for our troops has stretched our rifles all the way across the opening area here. I don't hate that, honestly. They have enough cavalry that this might be a bad idea, but also, once they get in, we can, like, curve the formation around them and be firing in on them from multiple sides. I think I'm going to keep it like this. I'm going to maybe stretch out the melee a little bit more. I wish I could zoom out a little bit. Yeah, stretch out the melee so that we're more ready to respond to cavalry charges. I'm going to have the gunnery mob up closer and the hero up closer. And the mortars up closer. But yeah, actually I'm pretty okay with this. So we have a unit of bomber deck droppers and 2 units of pistol deck droppers. Actually, I'm going to pull them back. Because as it is, they're just going to get murdered by anything that has an actual unit count. We'll wait for the enemies to engage a little bit, and then we'll figure out what we want to do with them. We don't have any cavalry, or any artillery to hunt down or anything. So, their targets are a little bit non-obvious. And I hate it when we're on white ground, because it makes the range indicator so hard to see if you're not mousing over the units. Now remember, the Dark Elves do not outrange us with their archers, so we don't have to worry about that. Hey, gunfire. This would be a good time for gunfire. Yeah, wow, these guys go down so quickly. Hold up, I should do that on the other side too. We should grab... yeah, we should grab the polearm depth guard and have them, like, get over here. Try to take the charge from the side off the table, and if they want to charge directly into us, then we will, we'll get to shoot them at least. You guys step up and block the path to the gun units that have turned to the side. I want to try and bring these guys down as quickly as possible. And this looks like the moment to begin the reload buff bonus. Reload bonus buff, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, it kind of looks like we're firing. It's hard to tell. I hate fighting on white terrain. Makes it really, really hard to tell what's going on. So you are definitely firing, right? Yeah, I mean, they definitely should be at least. Yeah, okay. I might even actually let them engage on my ranged a little bit. I'm a little torn. Because obviously, it would be great if we could do the wraparound thing. And I don't really want to move units forward into blocking positions. But I guess it would be better if my terrible deckhands were dying instead of my good rifles. Yeah, so we'll block stuff up and then we'll negotiate the rest of it afterward. And our Lord doesn't have a lot of magic. We just have Invocation and Dance Macabre. So I guess it's all going to be Invocations, because I don't think Dance Macabre is really that good. I really want to leave these gunners in position to fire at the cavalry as soon as the cavalry become available as a target. Okay, looks like we've done some good work over here. You should probably just run directly at them. Alright, we're not getting charged from this side at all. You may as well just run over and attack those guys straight up. Okay, and over on this side we definitely want to start focusing guns on these hydras and stuff. What is a Charybdis? This is new. It's like a darker colored. Oh wow. Okay. It's not just a darker colored hydra, it also has some other stuff going on. Anti-large poison attacks, whereas the hydra has fire breath and no poison. They're both largely armor piercing, as you would expect. They both have regen, so you want to focus on them until they go down. Yeah, okay, whatever. So make sure we have the gunnery mobs in this area properly focused. We're going to take down the Hydra first, then we'll get the other one. And they're actually almost out of range, which is going to make it pretty safe for us to engage pretty soon with our... Okay, those guys are under control. Yeah, it's going to make it pretty safe for us to engage pretty soon with our deck choppers. Oh, man. Oh, boy. That looks like it's going to be a problem. Let's just go ahead and... Oh, that's right. Malekith has that thing that puts all your stuff on cooldown for 15 seconds. How annoying. Alright, I'm going to have these guys form up right here. I'm going to actually have these guys form up over here. We're going to try to stop the thing they're trying to do there from working. So I'm going to take these two up here. Like I said, you can turn and fire at... Now that there's enemies in front of you, you're not getting the cleanest shot in the world. We're going to fire at the War Hydra. Yeah, we should be able to make that happen. Are the bombs from the bomber guys any good against... No, they do not have any extra anti-large or anything. Still, War Hydra. War Hydra's a big focus right now. We do have deckhands with pole arms in on the monsters. That's good and valuable. Yeah, I think this might be an okay time to commit some of these deck droppers. This side doesn't really have a lot of range. I guess what we could do is just sweep all three of them to one of the sides and just try to take out the dark shards with them. I actually like that quite a bit. They could just make the world safe for themselves and then fire into the back of the melee afterward. And where are my artillery mostly focused? Because we should probably be firing into the densest parts of the enemy troops. All right, once we get Invocation of the Heck back and know where we're dropping it, these troops alive here in the middle. They also brought their shades around here. Shades with ranged weapons and great swords. To make sure that we are keeping the front line that's supposed to be guarding the archers actually in a position where it can do that, because the archers are gonna... Or the gunners are going to want to move forward so that they can get their target over here. Okay. On, shoot him quickly, because these guys are trying to get around to the other side. And we're really not killing these guys at all, are we? Alright. The warriors are rallying. Well, alright. Seeing a lot of rifles kind of not doing the thing they were supposed to be doing. Hey, you guys. Focus up. We probably do not need you anymore worrying about these Dark Riders. I think the Dark Riders are under control. I'm pretty sure... I thought I had already ordered these guys to attack the Hydra. I guess not. What does this spell do exactly? Plus 26 melee attack. Yeah. I guess that's kind of useful. The Dark Elves have a thing that can make you rampage. That's why we're seeing things like this handgun mob running forward for no reason into a place where it's just getting murdered. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and throw out a melee attack buff. Not because I think the melee attack buff itself is useful. I stick by that not being a very good spell. But because I think that just getting her casting, so she's getting that general stat buff, is good. Alright, so we are losing some deck droppers to counter fire from the ranged over here, but we're mostly getting it done. We have opened up a pretty good charge. Yeah, this is a little tough. They have a lot of guys. They have a lot of pretty good guys here. Man, right as I was about to cast the invocation, he did that stupid thing again. So the Hydra's dead. No big surprise there. Charybdis will go down pretty soon. Got a unit of deckhands making one of their ranged units completely useless, which is awesome. Because the unit of deckhands was also relatively useless. I am at this point very much about just shooting at, or just sacrificing bad melee units to chase their ranged away. Okay, so it looks like we've spooked all their ranged. What do we want these guys to focus on now? The pistols, unfortunately, will not be able to do any meaningful damage to almost anything in the enemy composition. Yes, they can harass these witch elves all the way out of the fight, but a lot of these dark elves are wearing a lot of armor. The bombers probably want to fight enemies who are grouped up and who are pretty good. Actually, this is a pretty good spot for them to do that. Okay, and for the most part, we're winning.
Fleet Admiral!
Yeah, big monsters are just not good against the rifle line. I think the thing that's probably tripping up the AI to some extent is that using their most elite units is actually going to be a little bit of a detriment against us. Also, I totally forgot this army had a bloated corpse. I know exactly what to do with this guy. Look at that. That right there. Those bombers are going to have to hold them in place for a minute while we maneuver in. Malekith is quote-unquote fleeing into my artillery. I'm not even trying to pretend that he's doing this legitimately. Alright, I guess we'll save the bloated corpse. A Pyrrhic victory, really? I don't know. That felt pretty okay to me. We did lose that very good unit of Depth Guard polearms, which is a shame. But most of the stuff we actually care about survived. I guess the AI, when determining like whether losses were bad or not, has no sense of units that you think were okay to lose. Like the expendability of units. There are units that have the expendable tag on them that probably don't trigger it, or probably don't factor into stuff like this. But like, honestly, zombie deckhands should probably have the expendable trait. But whatever, we've defeated Malekith yet again as he charges into a superior force for literally no reason. He does love to bring us money.
As I foresaw.
He's very upset about what just happened. So I think about half of our lords have this trait now. Frenzy is pretty good. Not super relevant, I guess. Especially on our female leaders, who are not doing a lot of close-up melee fighting anyway. I don't know if Frenzy works. What is the actual definition of Frenzy? Weapon damage and melee attack, yeah, so they're not getting a lot of value out of it, unfortunately. I probably could stand to put them into melee mode and have them charge forward and actually do melee combat a little bit more. All of the Khemri agents seem to be tired of running around in my part of the jungle. They've been slowly evacuating one by one. I kind of wonder if they're falling back to armies that the Khemri are still building. I'm loving this thing where the Exiles of Nahek are actually, like, getting into position to provide field support. Who knows, we might be able to actually have some combined battles. It's not easy to get an AI army to coordinate with you to the extent that they have to in order for that to happen, but it's always really cool when it does. Interesting that we are now regarded as so much more powerful than the vampire counts. I wonder what happened to them, because I have not gained armies or anything. I wonder if they are still having trouble with the Chaos Forces, and like they maybe really couldn't afford to send an army out to annoy me. Oh dear, also, the Pirates of Sartosa were eliminated. Uh-oh, that's not good. What is... The von Karsteins took Sartosa. Well, hopefully they didn't damage the port too much when they took it over, because I spent quite a lot of money to install a cove there. So the trade agreement we had with them was only worth a couple hundred gold per turn, I think, but still, losing that is annoying. And then if they also downgraded the port by taking it over, which generally happens. Oh, did we end up at war? Okay, sure. I didn't even realize I had ended up at war with those guys again. Ah, yes, and we have an exotic goods hauler out. Maybe Peggy Rains is in position to actually go get that, now that she's dealt with the Vampire Coast, or the Vampire Counts. So they've split off. They really want the Temple of Kara back. They keep doing this thing where they underway move over toward it, and then if I threaten anywhere around here, they just come back. Unfortunately, it takes so long to gain population here that we've never been able to put up proper walls, but it does still have a reasonable garrison. We might be able to run over there and defend it, or I might just let it fall because I don't care. Either one of those things is perfectly viable. Let's go get ourselves another Skaven settlement. Gee, what a surprise. Skaven were discovered. Now, unfortunately, we do have to try to take over as much of this stuff as we can, because we have to deny it to the Skaven. And we want to make it awkward for them to reconquer in as many cases as possible. Unfortunately, there's no universe where I get to hold on to Subatun.
Fleet captain reporting at once, Admiral.
Man, it seems like Mengel and his Marauders could take over Axolotl, right? I'm not sure why they haven't. We've definitely seen rogue armies take over territory and become real nations before. I don't know why these ones aren't doing it. Okay, so Will capped out wound. I guess let's take Specialist in case he had to wound somebody. I want him to be as good at it as possible. Alright. I really want to just turn around and go south. I want to clean up the stuff to the south. But we are definitely in a position here to push on Nagarond a little bit. How much land does Nagarond control? They have 17 settlements, so we're not going to be able to wipe them out no matter how we do this. Not quickly, I mean. And Clan Rictus is really on the back foot. I think we could take them out. That said, it's a bit of a walk from where we are now.
March, you dead curs!
Yeah, I'd have to get all the way down here. Has to be done, though. They're definitely, like... They're building up armies down here. I can see that happening. And they have nobody left to fight but me. I'm just gonna leave... I'm gonna leave Cat to hold the north. We're not gonna be too aggressive over here. We'll do what we can, but... We're not getting too aggressive over here. We'll just hold on, and when Burke Black comes back, we'll do this. So let's get a couple of bloated corpses. This will put us on 4 units of melee. Yeah, we should probably... Alright. Let's wipe out Malekith real quick, and then move forward here. And so we're picking up upkeep reduction on a lot of our lords, like I said. Doing my best to get to the point where I could hire another army, because I really could use another army.
For the best. Slay these cattle. Take
Really?
the treasure.
Okay, well, I mean, I'll do it
That's
manually.
mine.
Apparently I have to. At this much balance of power, I would expect, like, a couple of healthy units to die, and there's no reason that needs to be the case. I can't imagine how it thinks they're going to deal any damage to us at all. I mean, I guess these guys will get to shoot a little bit. We're definitely going to have these bloated corpses just charge forward. I don't think there's a lot of strategy that needs to be applied with these. So my expectation here, based on what has been happening so far, is that we'll kill Malekith, and then the Dark Elves won't be a problem again for, like, 5 or 6 more turns. We'll be able to just completely ignore them. So Cat will sit there on the northern border and build up her army. And then, hopefully, we'll be able to get through Clan Rictus in the south pretty quickly. And we won't have to worry about getting backstabbed any longer. And then we can send Burke up north, and we can really put it on the Dark Elves in force. Okay, I think that's probably good enough. It doesn't actually matter where anybody else is. So they only have 2 units that have any ranged capability at all. These guys are all torn up. The Shades, which we cannot currently see, are in pretty good shape, though. They might be able to kill one of the bloated corpses before it makes contact. Maybe. Are the Doomfire Warlocks going to sacrifice themselves on that one? I think they are. Yep. Almost entirely wiped them out. Actually, I'd love to get these guys if we can. Nope. Malekith took that one himself. Sort of heroic, actually. Yeah, and then I guess... Honestly, I'm going to have these rifles all just kill Malekith as quickly as possible. I think that's a good way to shorten this up. Oh, they're having to run forward a lot more than I thought they would. Okay, you guys can definitely see him. Okay, there was a lot of running forward there that absolutely did not need to happen. They elected to enter melee with him without any orders to that effect, which is annoying. Alright, you probably want to run up here. You just go ahead and throw out the invocation now, because they're going to start taking damage pretty quickly. There we go. She can definitely withstand a little bit of melee. That ability recharge thing does actually nothing on her. It does not affect spells. Okay, get that off of the screen. I need to be able to see her health bar there. Okay, this is just about over. Malekith, for some reason, is not yet dead. Okay, there we go. I guess the terrain was just a little tiny bit too uneven for the rifles to feel like it was safe to shoot, even though they definitely 100% for sure had line of sight. They were like, you know what? The ground under my feet feels just a tiny bit unstable. Maybe I'd be better at shooting from over there. You know, right in melee range of the enemies. Well, it's embarrassing that we had 67 losses there, but we got through. So hopefully this will actually wipe out Malekith's force. We could have refused to end the battle until our gunners finished cutting him down, but my concern with that is that it would install a new lord in the army, and it might cause the army to survive. I see that happen sometimes, where an enemy army should be destroyed, but because you actually killed the lord in the army, it instead is not destroyed, and it gets that new lord, and you have to attack it one more time.
I have arrived.
Alright, so here... Oh, we can do a little bit of local recruiting that's actually quite a bit better than these deckhands. So let's see, I'm going to be able to bring in 5. Let's delete 3 of the deckhands.
All bones on deck.
Hopefully these guys will be a little bit better at holding the enemies in place than those deckhands would be. And then I guess I'm going to be sitting here recruiting for... I'm just going to be sitting here for a couple of turns. Can we pull anything fun from the global pool in a couple of turns? We haven't used the global recruitment pool, like, at all. Not really. Yeah. Alright, that's fine. We'll just replace that with a rifle mob. Okay, what else do we need to do this turn? So you can see things are continuing apace. Unfortunately, that pace is not very fast. You'll get some treasure. Peggy Rains doesn't have anything urgent that needs to be done this next couple of turns. So I think we're going to head her toward the southern part of the island and hope, fingers crossed, to be able to grab the exotic goods hauler as he goes past. And yeah, let's go ahead and defeat a foe in battle for a larger share of treasure. Wow, this is not a very good foe. This should be really easy. That said, we're going to do it manually so as not to suffer unnecessary losses. Our coverage of recruitment buildings on Ulthuan is still pretty bad. Something that I'm definitely going to work on in between this and the next video. Because we definitely need proper recruitment buildings on the eastern side of the island, because that is where all future threats are going to come from. I expect that it's pretty much just like the area around the Star Tower and Ulthuan that will see any enemy attacks for the rest of the game. This sucks. This is the worst terrain, almost the worst terrain imaginable. Yeah, I don't really know what to do here. I guess we could get up on this high ground. That's something. This is just terrible. We're going to want to actually be up here, so we'll move forward once the battle starts. Okay. Good range for the artillery, though. May as well just kind of start everybody in a ball up here, since we have to reposition after the battle starts. Okay, so what I'd really like to do is have my force like this. Except... who is... Wait, who's the... For some reason, these guys are the ones that are ending up all the way over here. They probably need to be a little bit more like that. Okay. That ought to do it. And they hardly have any guns. They don't have any good melee. Like, this is going to be really simple. Also, they have to deal with all of the leadership problems that Vampire Coast units always have, without the benefit of any, like, high-ranking guys. This is just going to be... This is going to be really bad for them. Okay. Seems like that's probably under control. And then I guess the rest of them are approaching awfully slowly. It kind of seems like they maybe don't understand that they have to kill us to win the battle. I don't know what they're doing. I guess they thought it was a good idea to approach undercover, but once you get out of the trees, you're just immediately screwed. Yeah, like that. As soon as we can see you, it's over. Okay, let's send her this way a little bit. I will say, as much as the normal pirate deckhand mob sucks, it is a better summon than the thing that real vampire units using this lore of magic summon. And I think they just get a unit of zombies, which is really awful. Okay. That should be the end of that. Let's just make it clear to these guys that things are not going well for them. Man, the difference in damage between an overcast Wind of Death and a non-overcast Wind of Death really is huge. Honestly, the not overcast one doesn't really feel like it's worth 17 winds of magic. That did not do a lot of damage. I will say, I like her hair. I think she's on the right track with that. It's a good presentation. Clearly, she has somebody powerful to idolize and imitate. But on the whole, just really embarrassing vampire pirating. Really low tier. Alright, come on, 10,000 gold. I don't know exactly how much money we're going to get here. My guess is that it's not going to be an awesome amount based on how weak this army was. But there are things, you know, I have things I could do with 10,000, 20,000 gold.
Exchange them for plunder, as I foresaw.
Okay, 8, plus we got almost 2 from the battle. Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Admiral of the fleet.
Alright, so minus 15% upkeep on her army. Pretty soon we'll be able to take Black Flag for another 8%. We are definitely in a place where we could put on another army if we needed to. And like I said, I think I'm gonna try to be down here to catch the exotic goods hauler as it goes past. I don't want to go too far south, but I guess the whole eastern side of the island is walled up now. We don't have to worry too much about enemies showing up and taking a bunch of stuff. They will be moving slowly enough, so we should be okay. These guys are out here on their own. Their army's not even full, and they don't have any artillery. We should be able to take them. The question is it worthwhile? Hold on, we'll come back to you. Lenny, is there anybody for you to eat? Oh yeah, you can try to eat this guy. Oh my god, his streak is broken. He's finally figured out how to kill people again. Unfortunately, yeah, still the case that I just don't have any good skill points to take with him. So, part of me wants to return to the Temple of Kara. I want to make it awkward for these guys to reclaim any land. There is that big rebellion up there that I was just kind of letting fester, because you know, if it gets taken over by the rebellion and burned, that's not so bad. I don't really want to withdraw from Zahotek before we get proper walls up around it. It's going to take forever for that growth to occur. We probably have to get rid of this building and put in a growth building if we want that to happen. And maybe I just let them have that for now. We take out this army, and then... I mean, we're not going to be able to take Flushline. It's just never going to happen. Not with these two. Flushline is going to stand until Silostri gets up here. Yeah, I guess we can knock this guy out, and then it'll be way safer for somebody to go up and retake the Temple of Kara. Let's go for that. So my assumption here is that I will do this, and then he will withdraw. Yep. Then we will approach again.
It's time to take the cattle.
Alright, I think that O'Bones McDonald should be able to make it back to Zahotech.
Knows my fate. I'm here.
Can you? Can you get close?
All bones on
No,
deck.
you cannot. Oh, whatever. You're far enough away from the Skaven that this should not be a problem. Let's see. Okay. Tim Fenn is working on his blunderbuss.
Undead.
Yeah, as you can see, things are going along. They're coming along. It's going to be a little bit longer before we're actually, probably I should reduce miscast chance first. It's going to be a little while before we're ready to get back in here full time, because it really is. It's probably going to be another like 20 or 30 turns of just sort of grinding back and forth in this jungle. Alright, who else do we have to make decisions with yet?
On deck.
Viola over here. I guess just keeps... It looks like I was trying to learn magic with her. Alright, over here.
En route.
This, I think, is where the treasure map was pointing us.
Thin out the cat.
I am wrong. Okay, that's fine. I'll figure it out. Alright, next turn we're going to be able to make a bunch of money. It might be time to do that thing I was talking about. Make sure we get some recruitment buildings over here. So what can we do? We don't really need growth anymore. Remove the growth structure. What I'd really like to do is put in a gunnery building and a Cyrene recruiting building in each location. So actually, just leveling this up is a pretty good idea. And then in Tor Ivres as well, and these two provinces together cover the entire eastern side of the island. So once I have the buildings in these two places, we'll be fine. I'm going to cut the growth building. Oh, that's a public order building. Hold on, did I cut the wrong building here? I did. This is the growth building. I think I'm just going to wait here for the Cyrene building. We have this. Make sure that gets upgraded. We'll install the Cyrene building in the extra slots once we hit level 5. I'll probably do the same thing here. Gunnery building there, and then Cyrenes and mortars in the other 2 slots. That'll take care of that, and we still actually have quite a bit of money left. What about these southern settlements? It is good to have money again, I'll say that. Yeah, we're gonna have to install a growth building if we ever want to hit the level of growth necessary, or the level of population necessary to get walls around Subatun. Maybe we can hold it after all.
Fleet captain.
We'll see. Maybe that's just me being hopeful, though. We're working here. I definitely don't want to upgrade the Temple of Tlenkan because I want to get Zahotech upgraded instead. Here we can't really do a lot because of the port building, which is a shame, but Temple of Kar is going to be someone else's problem real soon. What else? We have defenses around Hag Hall. I'm not too worried about installing defenses in Ice Rock Gorge because it's way out of the way, and the Temple of Adayoth is even further out of the way. We're positive on public order for right now, but part of that's because of a military crackdown, so like... Do I want to install a public order building in one of these? I guess there's no reason not to, right? And then I'm gonna go ahead and start making money. If I do put together another army, we're going to need even more money-making buildings so that we can still be accumulating, even with the other armies' incredible upkeep costs. Alright, that feels like a pretty good expenditure. Let's go ahead and run one more sequence of enemy turns here, and if nothing terribly interesting pops up, then I think that'll be a good place to fast forward again a little bit.
The arcane currents flow strong there.
Yeah, this has been happening. Malekith comes down into our territory by himself, gets his ass kicked, then begs for peace, and I deny him because it's just there's not a lot of value in having peace with him. I do want to knock out this Black Ark at some point, maybe once she gets her recruitment going. If it comes back over here, we could do that. Alright, Lord Skrolk is going to attack Kara. I'm going to let him have it. I doubt he'll be able to push that advantage at all. There is an army over here that's headed toward taking over that empty settlement. I really hoped when we burned that and left the rogue army right next to it, that they would take it over. I don't know why they haven't. Alright, I have high hopes for King Sanoct coming over here and kicking some ass. Unfortunately, the Khemri, they do have great units. They have some great units. But their army composition stuff is a little weird. And it seems like it causes the AI to build really weak, bad armies a lot of the time. So I'm hoping that he's not going to find himself unable to compete up there because he built his armies wrong. Suppose we will find out. Yep, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Look at how bad this army is. Just a huge swarm of the worst troops that he could possibly hire. Well, at least he'll serve as a distraction, right? We are going to have to do all of the work ourselves, it looks like. But we'll, hopefully be able to do it a little slower than we would if he wasn't there to buy us time. Alright, so a lot of dwarf armies running around, suffering terribly from being in the vampiric corruption. I imagine these guys are all still friends, probably. Like I said, I wouldn't expect them to turn on each other until the Chaos Invasion comes to an end. And it looks like the Chaos Invaders have no interest in making progress, and the people who are supposed to be defending against them have no interest in fighting them. So the Chaos, totally peaceful Northern Resettlement program is going to continue forever, I guess. I'd probably have to go up there and end it myself if I want it to end. Wood Elves are looking a lot weaker than they used to. Wonder if they're losing ground to Bretonia or anything? Like, what's going on over here? Bretonia seems to still be going pretty strong. And thank God for that, because Bretonia being a distraction to all of the forces to their east is the only reason that we're not getting, like, constantly bombarded by armies on the eastern shore of Ulthuan. So we do have to make a decision here in regards to the Star Tower and the Khemri. Okay, that's enough notifications. How do we want to handle this? Because we could turn Silostra around, but honestly that's pretty counterproductive at this point. I'm wondering if it might be better to hire an army like a Lord in Chupiatl and then just abuse the big raised dead pools that we've created on the mainland. Put together, like, we don't have to put together too much of an army, right? The Star Tower has an 18-unit garrison. Just put together enough of an army to run these guys off. Not really how I want to use my money, but maybe what we have to do. But we should also run over here and check Sartosa out real quick. Yes, Sartosa is producing like a third of what it used to produce. Man. He has ruined everything. Because, yeah, they knocked Sartosa down to level 4 and the port down to level 3. Well, hopefully they'll rebuild. Because that port being super valuable was like a big part of my economy. I don't know. We'll see. I think that probably is what I'll do. I'll summon a temporary army, have them raise dead a bunch, and then run over here and knock out this Khemri army. And we're probably not so far away from being able to talk them out of being at war with us. So see, as we continue to take over territory, that great power modifier is going to keep rising. At some point, it will be high enough to overwhelm all these negatives, and we'll be able to hopefully get them back to treaty level. And once we've been at peace with them for a while, they'll lose some more of these negatives from being at war with us, and we'll probably be able to actually make friends with them, the same way we did with the exiles in Nahak. Everybody hates us, but this great power modifier being positive with Khemri is going to eventually turn these guys around to our side. And in fact, if we can get friendly with them and get any kind of alliance going, that'll mean that Khemri, their capital city, will count toward our list of controlled cities. Because you don't actually have to own them yourself. Through vassals or military allies totally counts. And yeah, Khemri's on the list. They might have even more territory. I don't know exactly what's going on over here, but the city of Lamia is in the corner over here somewhere. They might own that as well. So getting the Kemrion side might be a big part of our final goal. Anyway, that's where we are for now. That's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time when we will have made, hopefully, some actual real progress. And we'll see you then.